Good evening and welcome. Welcome back again. I'm Bob Pace. I'm your host on this live stream, and it's being broadcast around the world. Um, I'm broadcast this from Surf City, USA, 3 blocks from the ocean, and south of Los Angeles. And this is about the child protection system. It's called Fight CPS. Stop taking our children. And I want to help every one of you with your CPS case. Now, a lot of you may not know what it is, but the Child Protection System is a government agency that was created by um, Social Service and Act of Congress in the 60s. It's supposed to protect our children from neglect and abuse. Now, abuse can be physical or mental. If you yell at your child or excessively condemn them or talk to them in a rude or other way there, that's abuse. That's mental abuse. Now, physical is when you use bodily harm to create welts and marks on the child. So you don't want to whip them with a belt or use sticks or any kind of things. You don't want to push them against the wall or shake them or beat them up. That's called physical abuse. Now, there's two types of reporters. There's the lay person and then the professional person. A professional person is like a doctor, a nurse, or in the school setting, it could be the teacher, the counselor, the principal, the other administrators, a caregiver, also a policeman and fireman. They all are required by law to report if they suspect child abuse. Now, if a child comes to school with very little clothes on and it's 30 degrees outside, there's something wrong there. If it's shattered or whatever, there's something wrong. They come to school all beat up and so forth, and they exhibit any kind of abuse or neglect. The teacher, the administrator, the principal is going to call in to the agency and report abuse or neglect. They're required by law to protect our children. Over 1,000 cases a day go unreported that should have been reported. So it is a bad situation out there. Unfortunately, things have changed since the 60s. In the 70s, we had laws that they were trying to enforce, and there's been some changes by Congress, some improvements, whatever. But lately, CPS has got out of hand. It's all about money. They get $20,000 per child. So they get 3 children, $60,000. And the money that they get, they pay in bonuses. They get the money from the state, and the state gets in turn from the federal government. There's no directors or board of supervisors that watch CPS or where your money goes. In fact, I know in Richmond, Kentucky, they're looking into $1 million that's missing, and 600,000 of it has been embezzled by one of the social workers in Richmond, Kentucky. So that's bad news. You can't trust, and the funds are being used unnecessary. Now, every time I talk, I kind of repeat myself 3 times a day. But what I'd like you all to do is to try to ask for me questions. All you do is write in a comment. And when I ask you for a comment, all I want is your first name and the location, the city and the state, or if you're outside of the United States, the province and country. And we do have, a lot of people outside of the state. I've talked to a lot of people. This past week, I've been talking to a lady in Scotland. Her name is Heather Stewart. And I have people that have talked to me from South Africa, one of the provinces there in South Africa. And so I have over 2,500 people that have talked to me on this live stream, either by sending me a message or by coming on and being a guest. Now, you can be a guest on my show very easily. All you have to do is follow the directions in that blue little box that I have that's right below me, the blue box. And all I ask from you, if you want to be a guest on my show, is your first and last name, an email, a phone number, and where you're located. And then I'm going to forward it on to Grace, who then will contact you and set up a time and a link to appear on the live stream. Now, we use YouTube to transmit, and StreamYard is the application that puts this room together. Now, Child Protection Agency, about 50% are corrupt. And that's sad because it just all depends. Like if you're in North Carolina, there's 100 CPS. In California, there's only 50. There's one per county. There's 50 counties in California and 100 counties in North Carolina. But you probably say, wait a minute, California is bigger, more people. Yes, true, but they're still spread out. Where I guess in North Carolina, people are more concentrated. So anyway, I have several people that call in from North Carolina where things have gone bad. It's been a excruciating day for me the last couple of days. I've been doing this live stream now for over 2 years. I took time off the latter part of December and January, and I came back the latter part of February. And I've been doing this continuously since October 2023. And I'm sharing you what happened to me when my children were stolen and what happened with my experience in CPS, and also the 2,500 people have talked to me about CPS, their experiences. So I'm trying to fill you in all the missing information you have. So for this next hour, I hope you get something from me because I really care about you all. Now there is a section you can make a comment to. Now, if you want to be a guest on my live stream, all you need to do is text me a message or send me an email, whatever is easiest for you. And anyway, it's Wednesday evening, and I'm glad that you're here tonight. We have right now one person, it looks like. Thank you for showing up in the room. Anyway, I'm here going to talk to you about how important tools you need for fighting CPS, which is a lawyer. I'm going to talk about some of the rules I made that I wish I'd known and I would never lost my kids. And I can talk about CPS, how to deal with them, how to work with them. And I can talk about a lot of things in CPS, like a 388, the ICWA, the 1979 Act, called the ICWA Act of 1979, the Indian Child Welfare Act. Anyway, I have a lot of information, and I want to be here to help you all because I know how hard it is to be alone to try to settle something. But anyway, I'm getting my computer fixed. You're supposed to use two devices. One device is your phone for your phone calls. I use Vonage. The other one is StreamYard, and I use my computer. Only problem is, if you get Vonage on the line, you're on StreamYard, you won't be able to hear me or my call with the person on Vonage. So you got to wait till it ends up there. But anyway, I should be having my power supply back in order. That's the part I ordered. But anyway, I'm glad you're here with me tonight. And thank you for the thumbs up. I don't know who did that, but that was great. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. That's awful sweet. We have a total of 8 rooms that tie in here. 7 are from Facebook, and one's from YouTube. But anyway, you found me either on Facebook or YouTube, and I'm glad you did. Or maybe you found it up through the office. But I can help you. I can help you. Now, you got to be careful because CPS is not to be trusted. They're not to be trusted, and that's sad. It's hard enough raising kids and having the problems we have, let alone a government agency that lies and cheats with its own members. Okay. Now, how CPS starts off? Well, it starts with an accusation, either by a layperson or professional. Now, lay people are your family, friends, relatives, acquaintances, the neighbor up the street, the guy at the store, those kinds of things. They're not trained and they get it right about 25% of the time. But the professionals are no more better. They get right about 50% of the time. You are trained, you're supposed to recognize it, but they don't. Also, you have a very abusive agency. CPS cannot be trusted. They do work for social services, but they're not honest. They lie. I say dealing with CPS is like Alice in Wonderland. She falls in the rabbit hole, meets the Chester cat, and sent from room to room to room, completely lost. That's what CPS is. You're lost in the maze of rooms and stuff. I met and fought the director in my place in Orange County, and he worked out of the Taj Mahal building. It was green, and he had like 10 floors, and nothing like his employees worked out of, but he worked out of that. And you're going to have a special tool to fight CPS. Because when they hear from the professional layman, they have to, in 24 hours, investigate. They have to investigate to see if the accusations are true. Now, I too had a case. It started shortly after my job. I was laid off in August of 2010, and I started getting complaints from CPS, I guess, 2 years later. Maybe it was 3 years later, but anyway, I need to research that. They were does anyone have any questions? And when you submit a question, please state your name, just your first name, and where you're located, your city and state. If you're from the outside United States, your country. I appreciate getting everybody that's out of my country too, because I will help them. I've had all 50 states call in. I've had 6 of the provinces in Canada. Then I've had England, Scotland, Wales. And then on the mainland Europe, I had a couple. Then I also had the Middle East. And I think that was, trying to remember what that was. But I've had one there. And then I've had people from Indonesia, Bangladesh, India, and also Australia and New Zealand. So it's over 2,500 people, a lot of people from the same country. But anyway, they shared me their story, so I'm going to pass it on to you guys. I'm going to pass it on to you guys. Um, we have Shannon Mari Wine. She's been horrible in California. Well, they've been horrible everywhere. As I say, I've very rarely met any positive thing. I had a lady from Maryland that was good as a social worker, but that's about it. And so, um, Shannon, what part of California are you from? What county or city are you from? And what can I do? Do you have a question you can ask and I can answer? How can I help you? How can I help you? Hmm. So these investigations they'll most likely come out to the home. And what you need to do is have your attorney present. In all facets legal matters, you should have your attorney present. The only guy that can help you out, or only girl that can help you out. All right, we got someone else. Let me see here. Who else we have? Okay, I guess it's just so far is Shannon, and she's from somewhere in California. And if you could tell me, Shauna, what is your question, or can you talk about your case, or can you ask me a question? I'd love to help you. I'd love to help you. Now, if you're on my show as a guest, I have room enough for 10 people in here. And one of them is me, but the other 9 would be you guys. So I can take up to 9 more people in this room to talk about their case. Now, one thing that's so important if you have a CPS case, you should get yourself an attorney. And if you haven't done so, you need to look into one. And if you need one, it may be too late, but you need to get it aboard. They have court appointed attorneys, but they'll waste your time. Mine never went out and talked in the hallway until it was over. So it's hard to talk to her that way. So, hold on a second here. Here we go. I'll be glad when my computer's back. I think you all will be too. Um, John further says, Riverside County. So that's where you're at. They're bad. They're bad news. I don't know anymore. The case is closed now. I want to fight the sustained findings that were true by soon now, I guess. Well, yes. You can prepare a lawsuit and you need to get an attorney. And Vincent Davis is the one there. But I don't know what your budget is to do a lawsuit. He's won a lot of cases and got money back to people. Okay. Now, you don't know anymore. The case is closed. You have to fight substantial findings that weren't true by suing them, I guess. Well, it has to be your amendment right violated, your constitutional rights. The attorney I had weren't court appointed, were awful, but no money for an attorney. Well, get what you pay for. Um, Court appointed attorneys wouldn't have done you any better. And I know what it is, no money for an attorney. Now, all you should consider legal insurance. A lot of you may not know what I'm talking about. Legal insurance is where you pay a premium monthly that will provide you with an attorney and cover the costs. There may be a deductible, but you may be able to get a attorney for $500 a year, that you hire out. And it's very important you get the right kind of attorney. Too many attorneys are just nice people, but they don't help you out. So the attorneys you had were court appointed. They were awful, which is typical. No money for an attorney. Yep. I tried to fight them my own, but I don't know if that's going to help you out, Shannon. I was successful. I had to sell my home, my forever dream home, and I sold it at a loss. I think it cost me over $1 million, but it was sad. It was really sad the way that they are there. Sean further says the attorneys I had were court appointed, were awful, but no money for attorneys. Okay. Sean first says, I'll look into that. Good. I hope you do. And you're perfectly welcome. But as I say, I have this attorney that has 25 years of success of fighting CPS, or 30 years, I should say, not 25. 30 years of fighting CPR. Okay. My screen is, I'm trying to make it bigger. How do I make it bigger? Let me see here. There we go. Now I think I made it big. Okay. I don't know why it was so small. I couldn't even see myself. You're very welcome, Shauna. I want to help you. And, my show times are 3 times a day, 7 days a week. So that should give you plenty of time. You can talk to me every one of those days. I'm on it at 8 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time, in the afternoon at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, in the evening at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I was hoping. Okay, I have to forget that idea. Having an attorney would be a blessing because they know what they're doing. Now, the attorney I work for, his name is Vincent W. Davis. He works out of Arcadia, which is in LA County. His retainer fee is $5,500, and his hours per hour, he's $550 per hour. So he's one of the best attorneys around. He's got back thousands of children from civil lawsuits. He's also ended CPS worked with different agencies like Santa Barbara County and Saddam Kennedy. So back again. Okay. Um, Hello there, David. So glad to see you tonight. David is one of the people I've been bragging about. He's a gentleman from Santa Maria. He has two children, a boy and a girl. He's not married. I forgot what happened to his wife, but it's just the two children. What has happened, though, his in laws have caused traumatic problems because they have wrongfully accused him of doing something wrong to his daughter and have coached their daughter. Now he has 6 months to have her returned. He's won his case, but they're still giving him a hard time. They make him do drug testing and they make him do all kinds of things. Now, Vincent was his attorney, and Vincent did get him the case over. So they're recommending to um, sign the case and he can return to his normal life, which is not going to be anytime soon. Okay, Shauna, please come back. I know that you have to go, but it was nice talking to you a couple times. I will help you. I will help you. So, David, is there anything more you can tell me, David? Anything more? Mm. We're waiting for David to answer. Now we have 4 people in the room, so hopefully more people. Um, he says yes, and my friend, thank you, David. You're my friend too. I'm so proud and happy that you got and your daughter will be back with you. I know it's still a long process. Now, intended heave. I don't know who you are, but so is Mr. Demers representing David? Yes, Mr. Davis did represent David. Can you take a call now? I'd love to take a call, David, but right now my device only allows one application, and that's SteamYard. The Vonage phone, it will turn off my volume on people in SteamYard, won't see me or hear me. So I can't take a call at this moment. But as I told you, you can text me or send an email that you want to be on my show as a guest. And all I need to know is your first and last name, your telephone number, your email, and the place you're from, your city and state. And that's all there is to it. And I'll send it off to Grace, who will get you on the show as a guest. And yeah, they're going to drag the unification. David says, oh, Intendee says, what was the outcome? Well, Vincent won his case. The child is supposed to be returned to David in 6 months, but he has to complete some things. He has to drug test, I think it's once a week, David, for 6 months. And he is trying to get visitation, but it's going to start slowly. But hopefully in 6 months, he'll be back altogether. So David's going to keep in touch because they're dragging reunification. They certainly are. And as I say, as soon as I get my computer part in, I'll be up and running on my computer, and then you guys can call on the phone. You can call on the phone. Yeah, you're trying to wait. Yeah, he's asked for, I think, 4 hours a week visit, I think is what he asked for. It's a slow start, but it's better than nothing because a couple months ago, he was going nowhere. That CPS entity in Santa Barbara County is very corrupt, very corrupt. Okay, he says once a week for 30 days. Random. Wow. That means you got to gear your schedule to whatever schedule they decide. That's not fair. That's sad. I don't like hearing that, David. David, can you share with people um, some of the bad things you encountered about CPS in Santa Barbara County? What did they do that was so awful? We'll see if David can come up with an answer about that. But they did some terrible things to him. He had great patience because it took a long time. It took a long time to get him back. Yes, good. Can you share it with us, David? Okay, and Tennessee says, do you have another family member that lived in a different county or state that can hold your child while you complete your kick classes? Well, this show doesn't offer foster care or how to take care of. How you find a family member is up to you. It's your relatives, and you can have a relative out of state. I don't know all the relatives of yours, but it's got to be a close relative, somebody that can. And it doesn't have to be in the state of California. If your parents live in Ohio, then they can ship them to go to Ohio. So it doesn't have to be there. And that'd be the smart thing to do because you don't want them in foster care. Um, yes, your sister made false allegations, which is wrong. And Tennessee says, I have one advice I have for you, David, is that seek the Lord and really make a change in your life. Otherwise, you will really lose your baby. Okay, well, he does. He does believe in the Lord, and he is adamant. There was just some false allegations there in Tennessee. David says, although all the evidence cleared me, the child protection system and the police attempted to suppress that information and not allow me to have it or call in the witnesses. Well, I'm glad that Mr. your attorney. Now, Tennessee says DCFS has been stalking people. Yes, and Tennessee, I'd like a question about you. I understand you want to help other people. You've been in this room numerous times. You're from Los Angeles, California, and let's not yell in here. Those are all capital letters. That means you're yelling. So I want you to offer something that can help out the group in here. I already know how bad it is, and thank you for your blessings, but we don't need to talk about religion or politics in here. We need to talk about Child Protection Agency and what we could do to help out the children, help out the parents get the children back. And his case was in LA County. And I think he's got his children back. I'm not sure because I think you've asked you, but he's been a long time off and on in this room. And he likes to do a lot of talking sometimes. But anyway, David, what else can you tell us about your case? Something that can help other people in this room. Now, David says, fortunately, the judge was fair and did get access to the information, so he spoke for itself. Oh, I'm so glad the judge was able to be fair about that. Now, Mr. Davis, he says, was a great cross examination. Yes, Mr. Davis is good. I've seen him work. In my case, he caught the social worker, and she committed perjury on the stand. She lied, and he caught her. He's very methodical. The social worker was being asked by Mr. Davis about what kind of parents that wanted to adopt our daughter. Now, my wife's sister and husband wanted to adopt her. And so they were trying to determine whether she'd make a good mother or not. And of course, she asked the social worker, have there been any domestic reports or anything like that? Or what kind of parents are these? Good parents? Well, then Mr. Davis opens up a folder and starts thumbing through some paper, and he pulls out a paper. And what it is, it's a domestic violence case, and there's numerous ones So that's not a good place for a child to be brought up in a home with domestic violence. It was physical domestic violence, physical domestic violence. And so that social worker lied, and Vincent Davis caught him, and she was so embarrassed. She was so embarrassed because they will lie. They'll lie to protect themselves. It's a shame. They should not lie. So you got to be very careful. Now, there's another message here. I'm sorry I can't take. Hold on a second. Let me get this call. Hold on. Okay, Michael Rollins from Tennessee. I've talked to him numerous times. He lives in the same state as Aaron does, and both of them have been in my room a lot. But I told him I couldn't take his call right now at the moment because my phone application won't let StreamYard or Vonage to work together. They do work, but normally I have my computer. But unfortunately, my computer, I need a part. It's on order. All it is a AC brick and cord. The cord on a 6-month-old computer is already worn out. It's frail and it won't keep a charge. So, and I can't keep it plugged in to get the electricity, so I can't use the computer. Nothing wrong with the battery or anything else. So, David says the court appointed attorney all told me to give up on my daughter. Yes, and I'm glad you didn't give up on your daughter. I'm glad I encouraged you and glad to help you understand Mr. Davis. He's really good at cross-examining. There's a lot of good things about Mr. Davis, and he's one of the attorneys I strongly recommend. There is financial issues, I know, because all attorneys want some money. David says, I fought hard and paid a lot of money. Yes, I know you did, David. I know you did. You spent a lot of money. And in Tenerife, I agree with you, Bob. Social workers, yes. Thank you, in Tenerife. Okay, we're 20 minutes left of the show. I got 3 emojis, 3 hearts, and then 1 thumbs up. And I have 5 in your room, and we are talking right now with Michael from Tennessee, David Hilago, who won his case and had Mr. Davis represent him, and Tenerife from Los Angeles. David is from Santa Maria. His case is in Santa Barbara County. And then we have in Tenerife from Los Angeles, I've already said, very spiritual individual. And then what else we have in here? I think I got everybody covered. Oh boy. Sean and Maury, that's right. And she was talking earlier, and she told me about she's in Riverside County in California, and she had wrong foundings found against her. So it is horrible in California. I agree with you on that. Now, David says, I resent CPS because their reports were so full of obvious lies and false allegations. Yet they still took my daughter. The judge ordered them to settle, and knowing I was innocent, they still wanted me to admit I beat my daughter and touched her inappropriately. I refused obvious, and they had to drop this. Well, I'm glad they did, because you have Vincent Davis, and he's a real stickler. And I know in the beginning it was taken forever with Mr. Davis. Anything else, I think, in the end, when the dust settles, the money you spend is worth it. Nobody can replace that of your love for your daughter. And I also like to reemphasize that all of the best parents are the biological parents for raising children. Foster care isn't good. So I'm trying to tell you, the best parents are the biological parents. So with that being said, um, thank you, David. I really appreciate the information. Can you share some more information about your case? Or other people, can you make a comment now? Um, besides David, intended Eve, make a comment. Also, we have who else here? I try to remember all the people. Oh, we have Michael from Tennessee. Can't forget Michael. And I'm so glad to hear Michael back. He came back the other day, him and Aaron from Tennessee. They've been with me a long time. And so they pretty much know about the show. And I'm so glad to have quite a group listening. Really is. Because the trick to winning your case is a good attorney. And Mr. Davis is that attorney. Now, he works out of Arcadia, his office is, and for LA County, his retainer is $5,000 and he's $550 an hour. Now, that depends on how far away the case is, how long it's been going on, the complexity about the case, in regards to a lot of factors. So the price is just not knowing. So I think it's really good that that you all are here because I will help you. Now I'm on 3 times a day at 8 a.m., at 1 p.m., and at 6 p.m. Those are all on the West Coast of California time. That's called Pacific Standard Time. Now, if you're on the East Coast, you're 3 hours ahead of me. If you're in Montana, you're 2 hours ahead of me. If you're on England, you're 8 hours ahead of me. And in Europe and Africa, you're 9 hours ahead of me. So you just have to check the time there. But anyway, let's see what else I'm reading here. So David says he's waiting to hear back from the social worker when I get my visit. Well, I hope it's soon. I hope it's soon. So he gets checked with drug tests once a week for 30 days. And I have lots of family members that are from other states there in Tenerife. Yeah, I do remember your sister making the false allegations. And David does have his closest to God. And thank you for the advice there. Yeah, David says even though he showed all the evidence and stuff, he's still being chased around and still being pursued. And Tennessee is that DCF, which is in LA County Department of Children and Family Services, has been called stalking people that have opened and closed cases. Oh, there's that medical trafficking that CPS does. They hang out at urgent care and they hang out in the emergency room. And if they overhear you trying to do something to help your children, they're going to charge you with medical neglect. And they're going to try to take away your child. You got to be careful when you go to urgent care emergency room because you got CPS hanging out there. And the reason why I bring that up, there was a case not too long ago here I had of a couple who had a 4-month-old child. And the child developed severe pain in the left side of her body. Well, the pain, they took it to the emergency room, and all they did is use an MRI, and they said it must be the appendix. Well, the appendix on the right side of the body, not the left side. So they screwed up there. The parents said they wanted second opinions. They wanted to leave, but a social worker intervened and said, "You're not going anywhere. You're going to have your appendix or we're going to charge you with medical neglect." So it was so threatening, the parents went ahead and had the appendix removed. When they came home that night from another hospital, or I think from the same hospital, they were trying to get a second opinion. The child still complained of sharp pains. Well, the next hospital they went to did x-rays and found out that she had gallstones. They're being released. It was in her gallbladder. And the social worker insisted the parents have surgery. She's not a medical doctor, but she was insisting that because she was going to write up the parents and charge them with medical neglect. Well, after he told all this, and they've been on my show a couple of days, I told him to get an attorney, and they're going to sue him. They're going to sue him. The child's been returned. Her gallstones are healed, wherever the problem was there, but she's missing her appendix. An appendix does have a vital, important thing in children, so they should not be removed, just like tonsils are no longer removed. So, anyway, that's medical trafficking that takes place. Now, another part of medical trafficking is when a mother goes in to have a baby and they test positive for drugs, or the baby tests positive. They can't take the child away. They got to have a warrant. And it gets really simple. So stay away from the CPS social workers that are hanging out in the emergency room. You know, they need to identify themselves. If they say that they're social workers, you tell them that you need to have your attorney present. Leave my child alone. Also, make sure the hospital staff knows it's only you want in the emergency room, not the police or the social worker. Anyway, I have about 15 minutes left of my show. I think it's 46 of the hour. Let's see what other questions we have. Now, David wrote, although all the evidence cleared me, the police attempted to suppress that and information and not allow me to have it or call in a witness. Now, Eve says Department of Children and Family Services has been stalking people. That's true. I agree. I think I read that. Innocent Eve also says, reality, watch yourself. DCS goes after fair of people playing under the table, Eve, their family. I agree. Yes, you have. Okay. Sorry, my information is not to yell, but to be seen on the read. It's okay. But I usually don't like capital letters because it means you're shouting. And we need to protect to something about CPS, not the religion part. Fortunately, the judge, this is David, was fair and did get access to the information. So yes, that was good. Yeah, and David says Davis was great on that. And Tenny says, congratulations, David. David says, get a private attorney. That's the best kind. Yeah, the court appointed attorneys all told me to give up on his daughters. That's why he says get a private attorney. I fought hard and paid a lot of money. I know he paid a lot of money. And then Intendant Eve says, I agree with Bob. Social workers lie. Yes, they do. David Halago, I represent CPS because their reports were full of obvious lies. You resent and false allegations, yet they still took my daughter. Judge ordered them to settle knowing I was innocent, and they still wanted me to admit I beat my daughter and touched her, and I guess touched her in a bad way. I refused, and obviously, and they had to drop this. I'm glad they did. Now, David says I need help now to sue CPS. He's doing what's called a civil lawsuit. You need to hire a private lawyer with experience in fighting, and because there's no other way you can win. You're right. It's got to be a lawyer trained in dependency law, family law, and juvenile law. They should have had experience winning kids back in CPS cases. A bonus is if they did a lawsuit. So your two questions to prospective lawyers is the first question should be, are you trained and educated in civil law, family law, and juvenile law? And have you ever defended a case in CPS and won? And then if the answer is yes, the second question you need to ask them is that, have you ever sued CPS and won? So if you have a double yes, that's a good candidate that you want to hire. Now make sure you see the attorneys in person. Now I've already given you the fees with Vincent, but you should meet with them. And I think David is glad that he got Vincent, because I think anybody else may or may not be good, but I imagine he is. So that's the way he said he'd get there. Now, Michael from Tennessee, yes, we are a family. So there's Michael from Tennessee, and he called in, but I couldn't talk to him at the time. David says, unfortunately, the juvenile court system is broken and corrupt, but I was fortunate to have a fair and great judge. Yes, you are, David. David also says, yes, always put your faith in God, and he will always help you. Keep the faith and pray to St. Jude. Very well said, David. Thank you. David, thank you, Bob, and God be with everyone in here. Well, thank you, David. Hey, Lisa Bartley's on. Good evening, Lisa. She's from Montana. She's a mother that her case got closed was the criminal part, but she still doesn't have access to her son. She had visitation, but then they gave her son to her husband that she divorced, who raped her later, and he's now stalking her, which is wrong. So just catching up the end of the show. I know you are, Lisa, but I want to know, Lisa, have you called 911 for a restraining order against your husband who's sitting out front all the time stalking you? You need to get that restraining order done, Lisa, so he leaves you alone. He leaves you alone. Lisa, do you hear me? Okay, we have about 5 more minutes because I play a video at the end of my live stream that you need to watch. That's a couple-minute video. So I will end up my show and see here, 7 minutes here. So, or actually 6 minutes. Yeah, 6 minutes. I have, yeah. Okay, Lisa says, the order, yes, the restraining, you will be getting the restraining order. Good girl. You need to stop him. You need to document every time he comes by, take pictures and everything, Lisa. Now, Lisa is from Montana. David is from Santa Maria. And Intended Eve is from LA. Michael's from Tennessee. I've gotten to know a lot of these people because I've been in my room all the time. Coming here 3 times a day, it will help you. And I care enough to take my time to answer your questions. You need to follow my rules. Get that attorney. Make a notebook. Don't let them in the front door. Don't talk to them. Careful about medical trafficking. They hang out urgent care in the emergency room. Use the internet. Look up everything. Now, the format on use the internet is you put the city followed by the state. If you're out of the states, put your country, province, and your country. Then put the letters CPS in bold letters. That'll bring up a lot of information about CPS. If you want to filter, then you can type in like a pro bono judge or a judge experience in dependency law, juvenile law, or family law. So it's very important you do that. Spend hundreds of hours researching CPS. They're very corrupt. You need to learn all about them. Well, we have about 4 more minutes before I have to sign off. I think I covered my 5 rules pretty good. Going back to the notebook, that's where you put all your documents with tabs. But there's some documents you need to create. One is called the incident time log. What you do is you use 3 sentences on a notebook paper, and every incident you write down the first line, the date and time, and the location where the incident occurred, whether it was at a building, a park, or a phone. It was over the phone. Then you list the people involved, and then you go to the second line. The second line is going to be a 1-sentence short summary of what the incident was about. The third line is when it's all said and done, what was the outcome? You don't know the outcome, put to TBA, to be announced. You don't forget. Skip a line to the next 3 lines. Skip a line, next 3 lines. But anyway, that incident log will come in handy because you share it with your attorney and you can't remember 6 months from now. So it's important that you do that. Also, besides the time log, you need to create a journal, and you want to have it addressed to your children, and you want to tell them your feelings and what happened and everything, so that if something did happen to you, they have a way of understanding. But a journal is so, so important. Now, I got to end my show. It's going to be followed by a video. Again, I want to thank Lisa Bartley, David Hilago, Michael, who else did I have here? Intended Eve. I think that was it. I think it was. I'm just trying to think here. Well, we had a good night. We had about 10 people. That's great. Oh, Shauna Mori Wyan, who was from, she was coming and she had a terrible, terrible case there. She's from Riverside County in California. That's right. But anyway, I want to thank you all. Let me take down my comments because we got to see the video. Okay, and then I'm going to get rid of my comments on stage, and then I'm going to end it. And please listen to the video. God bless you all. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you for coming, and know I care. I'll be with you all the way, so don't give up. All right? Bye-bye. Bob Pace signing off.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted, and if you go against then it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the last ones left.